Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us on this Wednesday. Welcome to the Minority Business Development Agency's virtual Subs and Sandwiches webinar with Turner Construction Company. I am Marshette Turner, Director of the Houston MBDA. This is our 7th year offering our Subs and Sandwiches platform, and Turner is certainly no stranger. They've been with us before and provided useful information to our MBEs, and we're sure to receive even more of the same today. During today's webinar, all attendees will be in listen-only mode. There will be Q&A at the end of this session where my team and I will be asking the questions that you yourself type into the chat for Turner representatives. We encourage you to type your questions as you think of them. Nothing worse than, oh man, I meant to ask that question, but I forgot what it was. So we want you to type your questions as you think of them, and we'll certainly get to them. As a reminder, this presentation is being recorded, and it will be available via email to all registered participants. Of course, we have our entire MBDA team with us today. Ms. Jessica Vasquez, our office manager, Ms. Deidra Sutton, business advisor, Ms. Tanya McGilbra, business advisor and alumni client engagement specialist, and of course, Mark Praigg, our part-time business advisor. Again, today's presentation is by Turner Construction, and I will now share a little bit about each of their presenters so that you'll know exactly who you're speaking to and just how to ask questions of each of them. First, we have Mr. Andrew Reno. He is the Community and Citizenship Manager for Turner Construction Company. He supports the Houston Business Unit by advocating and providing supportive infrastructure for underrepresented businesses to do business with Turner Construction. He strategically supports Turner's business development, procurement, and HR teams to design inclusive internal and external pursuits. Much of his professional career was on the operations side of the industry as a project manager and procurement manager, managing projects from healthcare, higher education, K through 12, and aviation. He has a passion for diversity and inclusion, which led him to his current role. Andrew holds a degree in engineering from Tennessee State University. And just a little fun fact about Andrew, he likes collecting Air Jordan gym shoes and is a member of Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity. Forgive me, Andrew. That is Mr. Andrew Reno. Next, we have with us Ms. Chandra Miller. Chandra has been with Turner Construction, working to support the successful operations of the procurement department for the last 4 years. She is the first face you'll see when pre-qualifying and registering to become a trade partner with Turner Construction. Her responsibilities cover a vast range from contract administration, insurance compliance, subcontractor engagement, and financial analysis, to name a few. Prior to beginning her career in the construction industry, Chandra worked the trading floor in the oil and gas industry for more than 10 years. She attended the University of Houston downtown, majoring in finance until she leaped into the field of entrepreneurship as the only African-American Western wear retailer in the United States for more than 5 years. Chandra spends her free time reading and swing trading in the stock market. Next, we have with us from Turner Construction, Mr. Trayvon Heath. He is the procurement agent for Turner Construction. Prior to his current position, Trayvon spent 3 years in community and citizenship supporting Turner's Nashville office. There, he advocated and provided supportive infrastructure for underrepresented businesses to do business with Turner Construction. He strategically supported Turner's business development and HR teams to design inclusive internal and external pursuits. Much of his professional career was on the operations side of the industry as a senior project engineer. He transitioned into an interim role as a D&I manager, where he directed the diversity and inclusion program of 3 business units in Texas under his previous employer. Trayvon holds degrees in architecture as well as in construction science from the Prairie View A&M University. And lastly, we have with us Mr. Chris Compton Jr. He is a procurement manager for Turner Construction. Prior to taking on this role, Chris spent 4 years as a project engineer working on the TSU Library Project and KIP Phase 1A and 1B elementary and middle school projects. He also has 11 years of estimating experience, for which he provided detailed takeoffs and solicited bids for ground up as well as interior renovation projects. Four Seasons Lobby Renovation, TSU Library, KIP Phase 1B, Price Waterhouse Cooper, Harris County, Missouri City are just a few projects he was a lead estimator on. Chris holds a degree in construction engineering from Grambling State University. Please give a warm virtual welcome to these four presenters from Turner Construction. Andrew, you can take it over, my friend.
All right. Good morning, guys. How you guys doing? That was a great introduction. I need to take you everywhere I go. I love it. Only thing though, when you're talking about Praigg, I don't like that. I don't like that. So
there's only one university that's the best, and that's Grambling State University.
No.
So
Oh goodness. Oh goodness. Okay, well look, I get it.
We don't like that three part, but other than that, you did great. But we want to thank everybody. We want to thank the Houston MBDA Business Center for allowing us to speak to your membership today. We love working with you guys and hanging out with you. One of these days, we get to do this in person and really sit down. Remember back in the day, Mark used to order us some Chick-fil-A. We used to eat Chick-fil-A all the time in the business in the building over there. So definitely look forward to that and meeting all your membership in person. So hopefully COVID will kind of die down, and next year we're in person. So we're thankful to be here. To the next slide. So just a quick safety moment before we begin any meetings at Turner. We like to have a quick safety moment and just take a couple minutes to kind of talk about some new things that's going to happen at Turner that will affect our trade partners in the field. First off, we're still in COVID, so we're definitely following our COVID-19 protocols per the CDC. We definitely want to maintain proper distancing while on projects. We are now changing our face covering policy. So, the gaiters and the cloth mask and the surgical mask, those are not allowed on our project sites. Now we're looking for everyone to have a KN95 or N95 face mask on our project sites. So just something just to know when you do work on our project sites, that's kind of what we're doing with COVID-19. The next item, hard hats. So, back in the day, we had those regular hard hats with the brim and all that good stuff. Well, now we're moving toward those kind of the mountain climber hard hats with the visors. So come June 1st, I believe, July 1st, Turner is making that a mandatory policy that all trade partners on our project sites have that that hard hat with the mountain climber with the chin strap and the visor. So I can tell you right now, those things are very, very expensive. So I would make it good practice now to start purchasing some of those for some of your employees that work on job sites. To start now, I can tell you that a lot of our construction industry GCs that we work with and our competitors, they're moving the same way. So I definitely good practice to start that right now and include that into your safety plan. Then I'll have Chris kind of discuss the latter last policy that we have at Turner.
So going back to the type 2 hard hats, one of the major reasons why we're going to the type 2 is because they have the chin strap. We were having a lot of issues with hard hats falling off of guys in the field, right? And with that chin strap, it's able to keep it on at all times and it doesn't fall. And it also has the visor, so that way you don't have to worry about always trying to find your safety glasses, right? Because the other ones didn't have that visor. There are some cheaper, more economical hard hats. I think if you just type in type 2, I think they range anywhere from $65 to $100. So depending on which one you want, that's it. As long as it has that type 2 type 2 emblem on the hard hat. That's all we're looking for. When it comes to ladders last policy, there's a Turner mandate that we have no A-frame ladders on the job site at all. It has to be either a platform ladder or a Baker scaffold. Now, there are some instances where an A-frame may need to be used, but that has to be talked with and discussed with our safety personnel prior to it coming on site to perform whatever scope of work you're performing. Because we know there are instances, right? But we just got to make sure that it's clear and understood why you're using that A-frame ladder. And I also think aluminum ladders are another thing that we cannot have on a job site. And we all know the reason why aluminum ladders, lightning, electrical, all that kind of stuff, none of that. So if you have any other questions about that, feel free to reach out to me. I can get you in touch with our safety department and they can elaborate a little bit more on those things.
Yeah, and then lastly, on our Turner sites, we do have daily sign-in sheets where all workers sign in on site. And then on our project site, we also have a badging process. Chris, want to explain that real quick too?
So the badging is a quick drug test and just it's an hour process. So every job that you bid for us, you must have those badging costs associated with the number of people that you're going to have working on the job site. And I think to get badged, I think it's like a $45 to $65 fee, right? And so when you're bidding projects, those costs need to be included in your bid because those are part of what we consider cost of work. So the hard hats, the badging, your ladders that if you have A-frame, they need to go to platform. All of that is considered a cost of work, right? And we're going to ask those things if we come to contract with you guys. Hey, do you have the type 2 hard hats? Do you have the A-frame ladders? Do you have the badging included, right? And so the badging is an hour process. We give you guys the directions on how to get there. You're in and out within an hour, and you get that badge on the same day that you take the test. That badge is good for 1 year. So if you work on a project in January of 2022, and that project ends 3 or 4 months later, and there's another project that starts in November, and when you're awarded that one, you can use that same badge member to work on that job site. Now, again, come 2023, you'll have to go back in for renewal, but it is good for 1 year.
Thank you. Next slide, please. So just a little bit of background on Turner. So Turner was founded in 1902 by the gentleman you see right here on my right, Henry Turner. He started off building and constructing concrete stairs in subways in New York City. That's how he started. He started off as a subcontractor just like you guys. And look what he has done from that point. He built the trade towers. He built most of the skyscrapers in New York City. So he went coming from as a subcontractor and moved all the way up to one of the largest general contractors in the country. So just goes to show that, a little effort, a little marketing will take you a long, long way. Our 2021 sales, we attained a $14.4 billion worth of sales for 2021, which granted us to become the largest general contractor in the country. And we don't take that lightly. We are geographic and segment diverse. We have over 40 offices across the country. We actually have 4 here in the Texas area with Houston, Austin, San Antonio, and Dallas. We have over 10,000 employees, and we currently have over 1,500 active projects across the country. And most of our work is definitely repeated work. So 60% of our work comes from repeat clients. So we have national clients that we do work for across the country. To name a few, Microsoft is one, Honeywell, Facebook. So we have a lot of those repeat clients across the country that we do work for as well. Oh, and just a little tidbit about it. So the Super Bowl was this past weekend, right? So LA Rams, I don't know if you guys wanted the Rams and Cincinnati Bengals to win, but true fact about Turner, we built both stadiums. So we built SoFi in LA for the Rams, and we also built the Cincinnati Bengals Stadium in Cincinnati. So just a tidbit, but I can tell you, no one from Turner got free tickets to the Super Bowl. But again, we're one of the leading contractor construction managers in the United States. So just a little tidbit about Turner. Next slide, please. So here's some more graphics. Some of the general areas that we work in. Healthcare is really big for us. We'll talk about some of the work that we have in the medical center that's coming up. So we're number one healthcare builder in the country. Number one education building. We talked about TSU. We're doing some work right now at U of H, but we're also looking at some more work as well with U of H and TSU that's coming up as well. And then it's just Baylor High School. So HISD. So we do a lot of work with HISD. You guys know HISD has a new bond program that's coming up, $3 billion. So definitely get yourself ready for that, because that's going to be coming up in the next year or two. So just a little tidbit right there. So we're number one in many areas. I think we're number two in aviation. So we do a lot of aviation work, which we have a lot of work down at Spaceport for at Ellington. We're chasing a lot of work with United here at Bush and at Hobby, and of course HAS. So definitely be on the lookout for some of those aviation projects that we have coming up. Next slide, please. So I'll pass it over to Chris and the pre-construction group, the pyramid group, to kind of talk about our pre-qualification process, insurance, EMR, and how to bid on jobs. Next slide.
So you want to go?
Yeah, I can do that. First off, can everybody hear me? Yeah, go. So Turner has an accelerated payment program, which was established to kind of help create a resource for a lot of our trade partners to kind of help break down that financial barrier that has historically crippled many of our trade partners throughout our time here working here in these United States. So fundamentally, what it's meant for is really to allow all of our trade partners to be paid promptly within a month's time frame of them submitting a pay application. And so what that does is that it reduces the amount of turnaround time for the time when they get paid. So just for example, typically most of our contracts are structured paid when paid. So whether we get paid 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days from our owners, there's an additional 2 to 3 weeks time where Turner has turnaround time to be able to pay for our trade partners. What this does is it cuts down that time and allows all of our trade partners to be able to be paid all within that same month of them submitting a pay application. And then Turner assumes the financial risk on the front end, waiting for the owner to be paid. We have seen a great deal of feedback from this program from a lot of my trade partners, particularly those who are a little bit more on the smaller side, who don't have that heavy load of cash flow to allow them to float a lot of those 30, 60, 90-day payment terms. So all in all, this is something that we typically try to encourage everybody to be a part of. Yes, it does come with a very small fee depending on the general contract payment terms, whether it's 30, 60, 90, but a lot of that tends to be worked out up front. So that's a little bit of the rundown of our accelerated payment program. Next slide, please.
Getting pre-qualified. Can everyone hear me as well? Okay, good. So one of the first things that have to be done in order to work with Turner as a trade partner is to get pre-qualified or become a subcontractor. We have what currently is our procurement portal, which is located online at Turner Construction, where each and every one of you guys can go on and become pre-qualified. And we use the word pre-qualify, but it doesn't mean pre-qualify in the sense of a yes or no. What it is more, it's more of a registration, getting to know you process. So as you see on the slide at the top, it says go to www.turnerconstruction. At the top of the page, there's a link that says click on to become a subcontractor link. This will take you through a process of populating basically the basics about your company, your safety record, what trades you fall under, company contact information. There's also some information that is required, such as 2 years of your current financial statements. We prefer that they be audited. In case that they're not, we do accept reviewed or internally compiled financial statements. We also need a current EMR on your NCCI form. If you don't qualify for an EMR, we can then accept a letter from your insurance agent stating that you don't qualify, but that has to be a current letter as well. We also need a W-9, a current W-9, as well as your EMR, your financial statements, and your W-9, excuse me. Yes, any minority certifications and certificates that you have as well. And any of your OSHA A and OSHA 300 logs for the last 2 to 3 years, if you have those available as well. If you do have any questions, I know it's a long process, and if you run into any issues, you're free to reach out to myself or anyone in the group, Chris, Andrew, or Trayvon, and we can provide you with what we have as a PDF fillable format that you can complete and submit that information back to us along with those documents. Right now, pre-qualifying typically takes us about a week or two to get through the process and make sure everything is there, make sure that we have all of the information and it's all uploaded. But if you have any questions, please definitely feel free to reach out again to myself or to any of our other teammates.
Now, one thing about the pre-qualification, so we always find that, we have bids come up and you guys bid, but a lot of you guys don't pre-qual. We find that slows up the process for us to really get to know you and understand if you can actually do the job that you're bidding on. So we ask that you get qualified early before we have any bids come out to get it out the way. And once you do that, if you have a bid come up, we already know who you are. So all we got to worry about is your number the right number and have the staff to do the project. So we encourage you to pre-qualify now. It lasts for how long?
18 months.
So 18 months, you have to renew on the system, which is very, very easy. So I would definitely suggest that you try to pre-qualify now before we have this work come out that we'll discuss shortly.
And one thing about that is, guys, for you guys, I know it's going to be very difficult to try to bid on a project, get a bid in, and then if you are chosen, to try to get all of this paperwork in at the same time. So while we're saying this, to go ahead and get it out of the way, so that way your information is already in the system. If you bid on a project, hey, we already know about you, or we already have your information in the system, and you don't try to scurry to get this information to us so we can review it and see if you're the best candidate for this job. So if you could help us out, help yourself out, get this information uploaded, filled out, so we can know a little bit about you. And in that way, when it comes to contract time, it's easy and smooth.
And if you're not registered with Building Connected, please register.
Very, very important. I think that's coming up next. Next slide. Yes, there we go. It's that way.
So Building Connected is where we disseminate all bidding documentation for pricing. So every time we have a project come out and we're soliciting for bids, we use Building Connected. And so we have a database where a lot of our trade partners that we're familiar with are already in there. Pre-qualification helps you get into this database as well, right? Because once we review your information, we can add you to Building Connected to start sending you bid invites for different projects. Now, we get, I would say this, we do get a lot of pre-qualifications in, so it takes us time to review that stuff. So if you have submitted a pre-qual and you hadn't heard anything back or hadn't seen any bid invites, I'm pretty sure it's because we're still reviewing information from everybody else that has submitted stuff. So give us some time, shoot us an email if you hadn't heard from us in a minute saying, hey, I pre-qualified, just wanted to know the status, and we'll let you know where you're at in the process. Also with pre-qualification, what we've come to find is that you'll upload your information, but you won't hit save and submit on the pre-qual form, right? So if you just save it, it won't send us a notification saying that you have submitted your pre-qual. So when you upload all that information, please hit the save and submit button, because it'll automatically send everyone in this group here an email saying XYZ trade partner has uploaded their pre-qualification information. But back to Building Connected. So in Building Connected, you'll have the bid documents there on file. You'll have when the due dates are. You'll have who to send. You'll have information on who to send your bid to, because we have different estimators in our department, and different estimators are handling different scopes of work. So you'll know who to send that directly to on bid day. You can ask your RFIs through Building Connected, so that way they're all there, so we can get those answered before the bid is due. And if there's any changes on our end, whether we're postponing the bid or moving the bid up, that information will be disseminated through Building Connected.
Slide, please.
So here's kind of just what it would look like right now. This is what we see on our bid when we send our bids here. What you'll see is the name of the different scopes of work, the bid due date, how many companies we've sent it out to, who's viewed the bid, and how many have marked that are bidding, right? And we take that very serious when you mark that you're bidding, because we're taking that as you are bidding the scope of work, right? So if you do mark that to say, yes, I'm bidding, we're expecting a bid from you. Estimators will be following up with phone calls to make sure that you're bidding and nothing has changed. But when you mark that, we're dependent on you for an estimate or for that scope of work.
Slide, please. So many of you know about our Turner School of Construction Management. If you don't, just a little information about it. We suggest that if anyone is interested, definitely join the School of Construction Management. It's an 8 to 10 week program where you learn tools to be successful. You learn what we know from the industry, and hopefully you can use that to implement that into your company program. We discuss topics such as safety, estimating, bidding, and operations. We added some new stuff this past year, which revolves around lean construction, and we're also thinking about adding another component with HR. The good thing about that is you get to meet our Turner family. So we actually have individuals from Turner Houston office teach these classes. So our safety director, he'll teach the safety course. Chris comes in, he teaches the estimating and the bidding course. Chandra's going to be doing something revolving around pre-qualification. So you actually get these people that work in this area to teach this class. What does that do? Well, you get to know these, you get to know them. So that's just, you just don't get to meet the 4 people in this room. You get to meet all of our Turner employees. What I always tell my construction class, networking is very, very important. I love it when you drop names. So when you meet with us, you say, yeah, I know Gary Kalora, your safety director. That goes a long way with us. So definitely, if you're interested in joining Turner School, shoot me an email. All our contact information will be at the end of this slide. So you can definitely join Turner School. It will start up probably in September, toward the end of September, and we run it through the first and second week of November. Slide, please. So the most important part of the whole entire deal, what do we have coming up? And just to kind of preface this, I have brought in a special guest. So we have Christy Bomber here. Christy Bomber is our business development and project manager for life sciences and healthcare. One of our that we're proud of projects that we were awarded last year are projects down in Indianapolis. So we have invited her to come in to speak about those 2 projects and how you guys can get involved. And we'll talk about all the other stuff, but we definitely pride ourselves on healthcare. We're the #1 healthcare contractor in the country, and these are some substantial projects that we definitely want to tell you about. Christy, you don't mind?
Great. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys for having me. Again, Christy Bomber, head up our healthcare and life sciences projects here for Turner in Houston. So the 2 that Andrew highlighted are those last 2 on the slides there. So we were fortunate enough last November to be awarded 2 of their large capital improvement projects on their South Campus, one of which is the education building. So it's going to house several different departments relocated from North Campus. That's actually going to be starting Q3 of 2022. So around, Q2 of 2023. My 3s and 2s mixed up. So second quarter of next year is when that is slated to start construction. But bids and packages will try to start putting those together towards the end of this year. So it's an educational research facility, teaching and nursing simulation, ground up, almost 400,000 square feet, roughly $200 million all in. So still working through, right now we are currently in the programming phase of that project, and EYP are our architect partners. So that one. The second one is the MD Anderson Biosciences Research Facility. Right now it's projected to be up to $400 million, 400 to 500,000 square foot facility, consolidating a lot of their research activities on that South Campus. Going to be a very large cornerstone project for a lot of their cancer research campaigns. So a little bit more technical, lots of, mechanical systems, heavy equipment, very kind of clean space activity, that type of project going there. That's slated to start, Q2, Q3 of 2023, and then wrap up in mid to end of 2026. And Perkins and Will is the architect of record for that project.
So, you can hear from us, but I kind of want you guys to hear from the person that kind of runs that whole area for us here in Houston. You'll definitely see a lot of her in the next year or two when it revolves around MD Anderson and all our healthcare projects that are be around the city of Houston. So I definitely wanted to put a face with the name, and her name is Christy Palmer, and I actually sit right next to her in office. So we talk a lot about this stuff. So we thank you, Christy, for being here. And if you want to hang out, you can. And all right, Christy, if you want to talk about the other projects?
I don't know if she has the slides for the different ones.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, so put together a little slide presentation for the up and coming projects that we have. Like Christy mentioned, here's the bioscience facility for MD Anderson. So, here's basically what she just mentioned is in this slide here, and here's a nice rendering of it. The Mike Shook will be the executive for this. Linda McClure will be the pre-construction manager, and then Juan Romero will be the lead estimator for this project. So when you see the bid invite go out for this project, you'll probably see Juan Romero's name tied to the building connected invite when these drawings come out for MD Anderson, for both MD Anderson projects. So next slide, again, bio research, like she said, 6 stories. This one here is the campus education center, about $200 million, 400,000 square feet. Cynthia Hawa will be the lead estimate on it. So when going back to Building Connected, you'll see her name come out for this project. And then Christy will be the PM for this one as well. And so we've got a little snippet down there at the bottom of, hey, when the tentative start date is, the completion date, and just a little general overall preview of what's happening and what the building is about and why we're building it. So next slide, please. So Axiom Space Headquarters. So right now it's about a $42 million CMAR. It's about 150,000 square feet. The project there, Tyran Shivers will be the lead estimator on it. Linda McClure will be the pre-con manager, and then Tung Nguyen will be the construction executive for this project. This project here, like I said, 42,150,000 square feet. It includes the construction of an aircraft hangar and apron connected to the Ellington Airfield taxiway. So this project is, like I said, it's out there at Ellington Field. So that's another big one on our list. And these are all these projects that we mentioned in our Turner's projects. We're not bidding against any other general contractors, right? It's our project. We're going to be soliciting bids for these projects, and so we're letting you guys know about them. So next slide, please. Great Wolf Lodge. I'm pretty sure everybody has heard of Great Wolf Lodge. If you have kids, you visited this facility somewhere really frequently, right? And so now there's going to be one built in Webster. So now you don't have to go to Dallas to go to Great Wolf Lodge. It'll be actually in Webster, which I think is closer going to Galveston way if you're not familiar with the Houston area. So again, this is Turner's project. We are working with I forgot who the architect is on this one, but again, 135 million, about 538,000 square feet. We're starting this in May, and December 2023 is when we're expected to complete this. If you know of Great Wolf Lodge, you know it's got the water slides and the hotels and all that kind of. So it'll be the same one, just in Webster. So it'll be a little closer for the Houston family to visit. So
this project you probably see from us pretty quick here because they want to start this in May.
Yep.
So we're gonna probably start soliciting packages, our earthwork package, site utilities, stuff like that, probably in March or April.
So I just heard, didn't mean to cut you off. So we should have drawings for this job here Monday evening sometime. So you'll probably see invites for this go out mid to late next week for the different types of packages for this project. So if you're interested, please reach out to one of us so we can get you pre-qualified and so we can get you an invitation to take a look at this for us.
Now, one thing that I want you guys to know as well, these are some real big dollar projects. Don't be afraid of that. We're gonna find ways to carve out scope for minority and women-owned companies and hub companies on some of these projects. So we're definitely gonna find a way, or we're gonna find a way to try to help partner, get some strategic partnerships going, guys, as well. So if you know any bigger majority companies, ask the team, you know, because all these projects have a inclusion goal on it. So people are looking for ways to add to their team so they can get the participation goals. So we run that down, not just from us, but we ask our trade partners to get to have the same goals. So we have a 23 and 7% on a Axiom project. All our contractors have a 23 and 7 goal. It's just not Turner. So definitely don't be afraid of dollar value. There's some teaming opportunities. That's what we ask that you talk to us, get that pre-qual in, and we're definitely here to help.
So, and then with those dollar values, like I said, Andrew said, don't be afraid of those, but we want you to stay within your bonding capacity. Please stay within your bonding capacity, because if you're a new trade partner with Turner, we must get a bond from you, right? And the last thing we want you to do is to bid a $2 million job, but then your bonding capacity is only 600,000 or 750,000. So please stay within that, because if your cost exceeds your bonding capacity, we won't be able to use you. It will be very hard for us to use you in some instances. There are some things that we can help with, but depending on that bond to price ratio, we may not be able to help you. So please stay within your bonding capacity.
If you are wanting to be a prime contractor to
Right.
us, that's why
Yes.
it's very important. We're really looking at that second tier. So we're definitely looking for partner opportunities with our majority contractors. If you call, definitely reach out to them. We're doing the same thing from our end. We're actually going to be meeting a lot of majority contractors that have worked with us in the past to let them know, hey, we got the same thing that Chris is talking about here. We're going to be talking to them about it. But the thing is, with that, we're telling them we need the participation goals. If you need some help with that, guess what? We got a list. We got a whole list of people that's on this call right now. Y'all need to be talking to us so we can get you on that list, so that we can send it to these majority contractors. If they always claim, you know, we don't have anybody, we can't find anyone, we got a big old list right here of people that you guys can talk to. So that's kind of what we want to do with that. So definitely make sure you reach out to us. On the other slides, we have our contact information. We want to get you guys pre-qualified. That one, get you pre-qualified, shoot some emails. We would love to meet with you. Majority, we meet with minority and women-owned contractors every Tuesday from 11 to 11:30. Get on that list. We want an abundance of people, so we can move that to, hey, we're gonna be on Tuesdays and Fridays now, or we're meeting on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays now. So that's what we want to do. So, and during that time, we also have you meet with some of our pre-con, not just us four, but we bring in some of our pre-con individuals. We bring in our estimators. We bring in our operations team. So we want them to meet you so that we can put a face with the name. So that when they see a bid come through, they know, oh, I met them at the meet and greet that we had 6 months ago. So that's kind of what we're looking at and looking for the opportunity that we have today. We want someone talk to you and not hear from you. We want to hear from you and we want to meet with you. So definitely reach out to us. Was that everything on that list?
You had the Indiana, since you had Axiom, you had Grable Florida. I think that was all four of the projects.
Okay, so those are the projects that we have immediately that are coming out between now and Q4 of 2022 going to 2023. Don't fret, we have more coming up. Like I said, we do a lot of work with United. We're definitely doing a lot of work with HAS. We do a lot of work with HISD. So, and then we have our private clients. So most of those jobs up there were not private clients. So we have private clients that we do work for as well. So that's why it's very, very important that you get that pre-qual in, because some of the projects that we have come out in the street, some people don't even know about it. And we go to our select list of contractors that we already have in our database to bid. Unless it's a public job, that's when you see it come out. And I can tell you now, a lot of our competitors in the industry, they do the same thing. So, you'll see a project go up, you wouldn't even know about it. So it's definitely important to get on that list so that you can get just not the public jobs, but the private jobs as well, and be on that contact list. So that's pretty much us in a nutshell. So we definitely want to open it up and have time left for questions. We want to answer all your questions. So if you got them, bring them.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all so much, Turner. We do have questions in our chat. So my team and I will sort of just jump in and read some of the questions. And the first one is, how does a vendor get set up to offer Turner Construction pricing and information on fuel, DEF, and lubricants for their sites?
I can answer that's fuel. So basically what that person asking, so our equipment is on site. Yeah. How do you fuel them? So typically that wouldn't go through Turner. That will go through our trade partners, and typically it'll be an earthwork or a site utility company. But what you can do is give us their contact information. So we have a contact list that we're starting as just the second tier. So what we'll do is add that to underneath our earthwork piece. So if one of our earthwork contractors like a Jocelyn or Sendero or whoever they may be, they might need that. So we could be like, hey, Jocelyn, Sendero, we have a person that does fueling and oiling on site for your equipment. You might want to give them a call. They're a minority of women-owned company. Give them a call. We have that pop. We have that influence to do that. So get pre-qual, get on that list, and we can definitely go out there and vouch for it.
Yeah, I'll also share. Typically, things like that typically get handled at the field level. So developing relationships with other trade partners who buy equipment, as well as if there's an opportunity to get to develop a relationship with some of our field teams as well. Because a lot of that stuff again is being dictated at the field level, where it's not an actual contract being written, but more done via purchase orders.
Right. So we wouldn't. This is something that we probably wouldn't contract directly with you on, but this is something that we can definitely help you out with.
Right.
The next question, is a contractor's license needed for any of the projects?
Louisiana. Right now we have a project in Louisiana where, yes, we are looking for the Louisiana contractor's license, and we're getting copies of that license for everybody that's working on that job site, just to make sure that they are registered. For Houston based, I don't believe so.
For Houston, we follow Texas State UGC recommendations. So if you have a business license or whatever you can do, whatever you do to become a business in the state of Texas, that's what we follow. Right.
Okay. Deidra, Tanya, do you all see any more questions in the Q&A?
Can we have each one of the procurement team members identify themselves? There are a lot of questions asking who was last speaking. So Andrew, can you raise your hand? Trayvon, Miss Miller, and Chris.
So if you see any of us out, definitely come speak to us. I know we hit all the events, so we are at buildings breakfast every month. NAMAC, MBDA. We do a lot of stuff with Houston Community College. Actually, Turner School this past year was at Houston Community College over in A-Leaf, so I'll probably be there again. We're in the ABC of Houston, so definitely come out. The number one thing with us is getting to know us and us getting to know you. You just can't just come up and send a bid and say, yeah, here I am, a minority woman-owned company, and we don't know who you are. So definitely network yourself, brand yourself. We want to see you out here. We want to see you with us. So definitely get to know us.
Here's a question here. I am the owner of an MWBE certified business. What opportunities with Turner exist specific to professional services?
Good question. So typically, when it comes to the professional services realm, it depends on what you can provide with that professional service. I've come from a background where I used to work in professional services. That type of work is usually done with the client. So you're probably an owner's rep, or you're doing something as a PM representing the owner. From our side, on the construction side, there could be some possibilities where we can integrate you team on our construction team, and you could be doing something with compliance or maybe QA, QC, something of that nature. But it's going to be very slim, but that's typically done with on the client owner side.
Okay, someone did a previous project with Turner at TSU. Do I still need to submit an application for pre-qual?
Need to update it.
So it may need to be updated, right? And so if you've done it and the documentation you've uploaded was in 2017, 2018, we would suggest you go back to your pre-qual portal and update it to the newest information that you have, which hopefully would be 2021 into 2022 information. And I would like to know who that was that did work at TSU.
Yeah, who was that?
I believe it was Uzo Okafor.
Yeah, I think he did some of the Miss Metals, the TSU bike racks and a couple of other park benches and stuff out there in the landscaping. So Uzar, hello, man. It's good to see you.
You actually helped us out. Yeah, I think he came in last minute and helped us out with some stuff. So yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for being on the call.
So I remember it.
Yep.
Wonderful. Here's a question. Will there be opportunities to bid on elevators this year? This company has a past performance of elevators with Turner and many other companies similar of size.
What company is it? It's like she froze.
It doesn't say.
It doesn't say.
It says Johnny Vu.
Johnny, okay, so,
Man, he said,
Johnny, we know Johnny.
yeah.
okay,
Oh,
okay.
Johnny, you know we just met with that 2 weeks ago. You already know. See, he's one of the ones that we met with, and we know Johnny. So Johnny, I don't even know why you asked me the question. You can just call me, and we can give you the
Call
answer.
either of us.
You sent an email with a whole bunch of stuff a couple of weeks ago.
The
So
company
Johnny-
name is Builders Direct Depot.
We know him.
So we're not answering that question. I'm trying to call her.
He's an MBDA client. Mhm.
Yes.
Tell her we're not answering that question. You can call her.
Oh, my
So
goodness.
Johnny, the only thing that I would say is, when we sit there, we'd have to look at the spec book and see what the spec book says, right? If that's, we'd have to follow what the specs say. And if you've got something that follow the specs, but it may be a slight deviation, then we have to look at that substitution request and submit that to the architect and to the project team to make sure that they approve it.
He gave the PC answer, but my answer would be different, but whatever.
Johnny's dropping names to let
Yeah,
everyone
he's
know that he
dropping
knows
names.
us already.
Here's another question. Do you need trade partners for LED lighting and installation?
So with the lighting portion, normally we would run that through our electricians. Because there are certain lighting packages, right, that are different from job to job to job. We would, depending on the company, and if we know you in your pre-qual, then we can help you get in to figure out what that lighting package is that's specified on the job and what you have to try to see if we can substitute that or use that in lieu of what's specified on the drawings.
Yeah, so if it's within our specs and you guys, I'm thinking this is someone that supplies lighting fixtures. So if you do, it will depend on the specs, but do have Turner Group that buys lights and equipment and all that stuff. Turner, we didn't mention this, but Turner is like the #2 contractor with buying equipment next to the federal government. This is something that we use to help our clients, and we call it Source Blue. So Source Blue goes out on all our projects, buys the equipment, and then has the contractor install. The good thing about it for a minority or women-owned company is it helps you with your bonding. So you don't have to we can probably buy the material. All you have to do is install. So there could be a situation there. So if you're providing light fixtures, that's somebody we can definitely talk to and get you hooked up with our Source Blue team. If you install the light fixtures, still, we can probably talk to you where we can have a guy, our team buy it and you install it. So we definitely probably have a need there. So definitely reach out to us.
Okay. Another question, how does a vendor get set up to offer HR benefit services to Turner?
And there's also someone asking about staffing services.
So both would be tough. I'm not gonna lie. So we have our own internal HR department here in Houston, and then we have a South Texas, and then we have a region, and then we have national. So I would say the HR part would probably be probably tough to do. The staffing could work. It just depends on the project. So we could probably use staffing for trade partners on site. There could be some situations where we can need staffing for staff augmentation on some of our projects. But again, it's gonna be slim to none that we do that, because we have talented individuals here at Turner that we put on our project sites. We have our own SPO division that self-perform our labor and some of our carpentry. So, but I'm not saying no to that, but it's just slim to none. It's slim. It's gonna be very slim for us to do that.
Okay. Someone is asking if there are any landscaping opportunities with Turner?
Absolutely.
So I'm pretty sure all of those ground up projects that we just mentioned, if not more, are gonna have a landscaping package,
Yes.
right? We don't just build a building and then leave it dirt around the facility. So,
Yeah,
but-
it'll be
but-
nice.
now what I would say is some of these projects may have not gotten into that finite of a detail yet for a landscaping package. So that may be a package that's issued out as a separate kind of addendum / supplemental condition set for the landscaping package. So that's just something when we issue out the drawings, if they have a landscaping section, of course, that's what you bid on. So I know these four will have it. Any of the other ground ups that we have coming up, I'm pretty sure they will as well.
So just to piggyback off of Chris, so I know Axiom's gonna have it, and that's the most immediate project
Yep.
that will be coming out. The package one came out in February, so package two should be hitting the street any day now. So that will have a landscaping package. Great Wolf Lodge, of course, will have a landscaping package as well in there. Then of course our Indiana projects will of course too. So yeah, we definitely would have the needs to definitely get pre-qualified with the Axiom project and Great Wolf. We're looking for certification. So we have for Axiom, we can only allow the City of Houston certified. So if you're certified with City of Houston, you can accept that as part of the credit. Don't mean you can't bid if you don't have it. You can definitely bid, but if you want to be counted toward the credit and we'll take a longer look at you, you gotta have the City of Houston certification. For the MD Anderson projects, that's gonna be a hub project. So if any of you guys have like your City of Houston, or you might have the HMSDC certification, go get your hub. We have some contacts down at the City of Houston that you can talk to. That is from what we were told, it's an easy process if you qualify for hub. Just like an extra signature on a form, and you're on your way to becoming a hub contractor. So that's one thing that we're definitely making sure that everyone starts doing. You're just getting your City of Houston certification, get the hub too.
Regarding landscaping, what I would say is when you're pre-qualifying, if you hadn't worked with us before, please put a list of your nurseries that you currently work with. And the reason being is because I know a lot of landscape architects and a lot of clients are particular about which tree they want or which plant they want. And they like to go see and feel and touch that, right? And so, sometimes they'll even make a flight to Dallas or something like that, and some of them won't, right? So if you've got those local nurseries that have that certain specification for that plant, they like to go and actually see and touch and mark which trees they want for their specific project. I don't know how picky the architects and clients are for these 4 projects, but I'm pretty sure Great Wolf is going to have an elaborate landscape package. Axiom as well, and some of these others. And it's not just, hey, here's some product data on the different types. They like to go out there and look at them and put ribbons on which ones they want so that they make sure that those get to their projects.
So the number one issue that we have on our projects is really not the building or the mechanical electrical and plumbing systems. It's the landscaping. We always have issues with some of the plants and trees coming out and they're dying within days, or the warranty for it is really bad. So we're definitely taking that seriously with the landscaping. So like Chris said, we have the nurseries. I would definitely get involved with more than one here in the Houston area, and they'll definitely look good for you.
Last thing on landscaping, please make sure when you're bidding that you look at the spec, because a lot of times they want that 1-year warranty after substantial completion.
Correct.
Right? And so you need to have that insurance or that coverage or that cost covered for that 1 year after substantial completion, because if everything for whatever reason dies within that 1 year period, you're responsible for replacing that at your cost. So please make sure you read that. Please make sure you have that type of pricing included in your bid, because, Lord forbid everything dies and you got to come out of pocket, but you didn't have that cost included in your cost when you bid the job. We're going to have to say, hey, we've got a contract with you. Our contract is based on plans and specs. So you're responsible for replacing all of those plans.
And Chris actually just brought up a good point. So he's talking about bidding, right? So our bids, we necessarily don't go with low man win. So when you're putting together your proposals and your bids for us, don't think about, I got to get low. Think about, I got to be covered. Because the price is a part of your evaluation, but we're going to be looking at the whole entire thing. We're looking at your safety program, your experience, your price, can you be in our schedule? Can you sign our contracts? Stuff like that. So that's what we're looking for. So when you're sitting there with submitting proposals, don't think about, I gotta get low. We want you to make money. We want you to get the job, and then you can't make money on it. So don't think about, I gotta be low. Think about, I want best value, and what value can I offer Turner on this project that I'm bidding, and take that with you to the other contractors. Don't try to get low. Try to have the best value.
We don't ever want you to be like, yeah, I did work with Turner, but I never made any money, right? We want you to be like, hey, I worked with Turner and it was a very good experience and I made money and I'd work with them again. And we want to say the same thing for you guys. Hey, we worked with XYZ trade partner. They're a great trade partner to work with, and we'll work with them again. Just like Uzor. We all remember Uzor from TSU. It was a great experience, right? And those are the kind of partnerships we want to form with you guys, and we know you guys want to do the same with us.
We're all in business to make money.
We want to, in these last few remaining minutes, we want to get a couple more questions in. Can two people from the same company apply for the Turner Construction School of Management?
Yeah, so what we're doing, so we're being very selective when it comes to Turner School. So we're making it smaller, so we won't have 50, 60 people in the program. So last year we only had 20 people, and you are allowed to bring one other person with you. And you have to submit an application, and you have to go through an interview process. You have to be certified with the city of Houston, and that's pretty much it. Then we're interviewed. And you can only have been in Turner School prior, maybe 5 years ago. So if you've done Turner School between 2017 and 2021, you probably won't get in, because we want new people. You're already going through it, defeats the purpose. You already went through already. You have the slides, you know the people, you're good. We want new people to come in. Now, after 5 years, you can come back in and join the program. Now, we also offer Turner Advanced School, where we go into depth on a certain topic that you can get in, and you can, it doesn't matter the time period of Turner. So, but just definitely be on the lookout. If you have a question about that, anybody on that in our email chain, you shoot an email to about Turner School. We'll probably submit applications out through the city of Houston. Dr. Portia Jackson, she is our liaison with the city. She'll probably get that stuff out probably in June.
Okay, someone asked the question, is Turner willing to work with a startup?
What kind of startup is it?
She didn't say, she just said a startup.
It depends on what it is. So here's the thing with startups. We would love to work with startups, but one thing that we cannot do, cannot work with people that are pass-throughs. So, and that's something I've noticed sometimes when we have startups, there's a person that's working through another company. You know, we hired them, but they hired this other company to do the work for them. So that's one thing that we definitely would frown on if that's happening. But if you're a startup, let us know what it is. We'll definitely work with you. Shoot me an email and let's talk. We'll definitely love to meet with you to find out what you're doing, and you know, we can find a way to try to help you out. If not, I can direct you to someone that can. We know people in the industry. I know people from Austin Commercial. One of my mentors is Bill Brown. You guys probably met him on the prior subject. We all talk, so I can get you in contact with him. I can get you in contact with McCarthy, everybody. So to help you guys out, we just want you guys to work. So it doesn't necessarily have to be with Turner. It can be with anybody. So we just want you to work.
And narrowing it down, we're not going to have time for all these questions, but how does a security vendor obtain a contract?
So security on our project
Become qualified. I'm sorry. How does a security vendor become qualified?
Oh, same way that everybody else does. You just go to the website, fill it out, and then try to schedule a meeting with us so we get to know you.
So, and then with security, I know a lot of times we have, you know, cameras and stuff on site, right? We said that we've got vendors that do the cameras or sometimes we'll set up security. So, you know, that if you're talking about like in-person security where security guards are patrolling the site and stuff like that, sometimes we do it, sometimes we don't. So it all depends on the project and what the owner wants, right? So that's a kind of hit or miss opportunity as well for us.
Okay.
Talk to you about.
Yep.
Okay. Well, thank you all so much. This has truly been informative. We have 130 people listening and trying to gain information and insight relative to Turner Construction. So we thank all of our attendees. We certainly thank you, the Turner team, for being with us again. And so for those of you who registered for this webinar, please screenshot what you see on the screen now so that you can contact the representatives at Turner Construction. Their name and email and titles are on the screen now. So please screenshot that so that you'll have their information and you can ask them all those questions that you have. Thank you so much again, Turner. We appreciate you and we will talk soon.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.